Welcome to Statutes Part 2, where we will discuss all the enhancements you get on our legal databases, specifically Westlaw and Lexis. I'm not going to lie, these series of videos are going to be a little less cute as we've got to get right into using statutes in our research. Okay, just kidding. Here's a picture of my tortoise, who is very cute. Okay, now we'll get serious. In our last class, we worked through different ways of finding statutes. Now we're going to work with the database to use a found statute to further our research. The annotated codes within Westlaw and Lexis will give you so much more than just the language of the statute. You will also find cross-references to other statutes you may need, case law that has interpreted the statute, and secondary sources that help you make sense of it all. We're going to break each of these down in turn, and then we'll practice using these skills in class. This may not mean anything to you at the moment, but the different database enhancements we are going to look at with regards to statutes are the table of contents, yes, again, notes to decisions and notes of decisions, citing references and citing decisions, other citing sources, context analysis, and research references. These are very similar between the two databases, but they are called different things and they look a little different on each. The next few slides will go through each of these in turn on both Westlaw and Lexis, and then you'll have a chance to use them before we dive deeper in class. Buckle up, here we go. For demonstration purposes, we are going to be looking at Title 17 of the United States Code, Section 103 in both Westlaw and Lexis. Before we get into the enhancements, I want to explain what you will see on the screen, the anatomy of the statute, if you will. This is what you will see on Westlaw. At the top, you have a breakdown of where you are in the United States Code by title, chapter, and sometimes subchapter. Then you get the section number and the caption of this particular statute. Beneath that, you have the text of the statute itself, which you will need to read, and below that, you have the credit. The credit tells you when the statute was enacted, in this case on October 19, 1976, the public law number, and the citation for where you would find that public law in the statutes at large. I want to make quick mention of this line right here. It's called currentness, and it lets you know that Westlaw itself has all current legislation passed through public law number 117-262. We'll talk about this more in class. Back at the top, you'll see a number of tabs. These tabs are the enhancements we'll dig deeper into. You have a table of contents, which shows you where you are in the code and the other statutes near this one. You have the notes of decisions, historical information on the statute, including some legislative history materials, citing references, which is anything that Westlaw has that cites to this particular statute, and context and analysis, which gives you cross-references to helpful information. Let's go see what the same statute looks like in Lexis. The anatomy of a statute in Lexis is similar to Westlaw with some noticeable differences, mostly in organization and vocabulary. Let's see what this looks like by going to the USCS and then typing in 17 USCS 103 to get to our statute. At the top, we have the heading and outline of the statute, which tells us where we are in the code. We have the section number and title of this specific statute and the text of the statute itself. Looks all pretty normal, right? What is called a credit in Westlaw is the history in Lexis, which shows when the law was enacted and any amendments if there were any. Underneath that, you have annotations and notes to the statute, and underneath that, you have notes to decisions, called notes of decisions in Westlaw. You can also use the scroll bar on the left to navigate quickly. Way down at the bottom are research references, which are similar to context and analysis in Westlaw in that it gives you cross-references to further your research. On the left, you also have a tab to the table of contents, so you can quickly find relevant sections of the code you may still need to see. At the top of the document, you have citing decisions, which are all the cases that Lexis has that cites to this statute, and then other citing sources, which are any other materials Lexis has that cite to this statute, like secondary sources and regulations. Last is the History tab, which can give you access to legislative history materials. Now that you've seen what a statute looks like in both Westlaw and Lexis, let's break down those individual parts.